put back markers because her card declined. Then 20 bikers showed up at her classroom. The fluorescent lights of the Walmart Supercenter hummed like a hive of angry bees. It was 9 o'clock on a Sunday night, and a woman in a cardigan with an apple pin stood in the school supplies aisle, holding a package of Crayola markers like it was made of gold. She looked at the markers, looked at her cart, looked at her phone. Then she put the markers back on the shelf. One by one, she started unloading. Notebooks went back. Folders went back. Glue sticks, erasers, a 3-ring binder. All returned to their homes while her eyes welled up with tears she was trying too hard to hide. A big man in a leather vest covered with patches stood at the end of the aisle, watching. He'd come for one thing, a backpack for his nephew. But what he was seeing stopped him cold. Because Sarah Jenkins wasn't shopping for herself. She was a third-grade teacher at Washington Elementary, and she was spending her Sunday night buying supplies with her own money for kids who couldn't afford them. Kids who would show up tomorrow morning with empty backpacks and hopeful eyes. And she didn't have enough. This is Hidden Heroes. We travel across this country finding the ordinary people doing extraordinary things. The ones who never make the news. The ones who hold up the ceiling with both hands while nobody watches. The ones who give until it hurts, and then give some more. Where are you watching from tonight? Drop your city or town in the comments below. We want to know who's out there with us. Oklahoma City? Tulsa? Somewhere far from the heartland. We read every comment, and your stories are what keep us going. Because tonight's story starts in a Walmart in small-town America, but it ends somewhere none of us expected. Sarah Jenkins had been teaching for 8 years. 8 years of early mornings and late nights. 8 years of buying pencils when the school ran out, of keeping a stash of granola bars in her desk for hungry kids, of washing classroom rugs in her own washing machine because the budget didn't cover cleaning supplies. Her husband, Marcus, worked construction when there was work. When there wasn't, he stayed home with their 3-year-old son Leo and tried not to look at the stack of bills on the kitchen counter. They weren't poor exactly. They just weren't enough. Enough never seemed to stretch far enough. This year, Sarah's classroom budget was $200. $200 for 23 third graders. That's less than $9 per kid for an entire year of learning. Notebooks alone cost more than that. Folders, pencils, crayons, scissors, glue. It added up before you even got to the tissues and hand sanitizer and the little rewards she liked to give for good behavior. So Sarah did what teachers all over America do. She made lists. She clipped coupons. She watched for sales. And when the back-to-school ads started popping up in July, she started setting aside money from every paycheck. $20 here, $30 there. She'd saved up $300 by mid-August, tucked away in an envelope marked classroom. $300 wasn't enough. It was never enough, but it was something. Tonight was her last shopping trip before the first day. She'd left Leo with her mother, kissed Marcus goodbye, and driven to Walmart with a mission. Get the basics. Stretch every dollar. Make it work. For 2 hours, she'd walk the aisles with clinical precision. The 99-cent notebooks, but only the ones with the thick covers. The 24-pack crayons instead of the 64-pack, even though the kids loved the sharpener in the back. The generic glue sticks because they were half the price, even though they didn't stick as well. She'd done the math in her head, adding and subtracting as items went into the cart. By the time she hit the checkout, she was right on target. $123.47. Perfect. Then the first card declined. She tried again. Declined. She pulled out the backup card, the one for emergencies. Declined. Her heart started pounding. That envelope of cash, she'd deposited it last week to keep it safe. The money should be there. It had to be there. She checked her bank balance on her phone. $43 available. The envelope. The $300. It was gone. Not stolen. Transferred. Transferred this morning to cover the electricity bill that was about to get shut off. Marcus must have done it while she was at church. He hadn't said anything. He'd probably hoped to replace it before she noticed. Sarah stood at the checkout with her cart full of supplies and 23 kids waiting in her classroom, and she felt the tears coming. "Ma'am," the cashier was looking at her. "Do you have another card?" She fumbled in her purse. Found a crumpled 20 and someone's. Counted them on the little shelf. $73. $73 for 23 kids. She started putting things back. Markers first, the good ones, the Crayola brand. Then the spiral notebooks, the ones that wouldn't fall apart. Then the fancy erasers that actually worked, replacing them with the pink ones that left smudges. Each item she put back felt like a small betrayal, like she was telling those kids, before they even walked through her door, that they weren't worth it. That's when the big man stepped forward. He was intimidating, she couldn't deny it. 6 foot something, broad shoulders, a salt and pepper beard. His arms were covered in tattoos, and his leather vest was covered in patches she didn't recognize but instinctively feared. Bikers. Outlaws. The kind of men you cross the street to avoid. Ma'am. She flinched. Stepped back. He held up his hands. I ain't gonna hurt you. I saw you putting stuff back. The markers and such. She shook her head, embarrassed. I'm sorry, How short are you? Excuse me. He nodded toward the cart. You were counting money. Putting stuff back. How short are you? Sarah blinked at him. This wasn't happening. A biker in a Walmart was not happening. I don't. $50, the cashier said, bored. She's 50 short. The big man reached into his pocket, pulled out a worn leather wallet, counted out 3 20s, and laid them on the conveyor belt. Get the markers back. And the good notebooks. Sarah stared at the money. I can't accept this. I don't even know you. Yeah, you do. You're a teacher. He pointed at her sweater. That apple pin. She touched it without thinking. A gift from her mother when she got her first job. How did you? I got a nephew starting kindergarten tomorrow. My sister's been stressing for a month. Told me some teachers spend their own money. He looked at the cart, at the half-empty bags. I didn't really believe it until now. The cashier finished the transaction. The receipt printed. Sarah stood there holding her bags, her hands shaking. I'll pay you back, she said. I get paid Friday. Give me your address. I'll mail you a. He shook his head. Nope. Please, I insist. He picked up 2 of her bags. Which way's your car? She led him through the parking lot to her Honda Civic, the one with the dent in the door and the half-peeling coexist sticker. He set the bags in the trunk. She opened the back door to add the rest, and he saw the car's seat, the children's books, the spilled goldfish. You got kids of your own? He asked. 1. Leo. He's 3. She wiped her eyes. I'm sorry. I'm rambling. It's been a long weekend. He leaned against the motorcycle parked next to her car. A Harley. Blacked out. Loud as hell. You do this often? Spend your own money. She laughed, and it came out broken. All the time. Every teacher I know does. My friend Katie spent $800 last year. 800. On a teacher's salary. He was quiet for a minute. Then he said, my old man was a teacher. High school history. Died when I was 16. Heart attack right there in the classroom. Sarah's hand went to her chest. Oh my God. I'm so sorry. He used to do the same thing. Buy stuff for kids who couldn't afford it. My mother used to get so mad. We got bills to pay, Frank. He'd just shrug and say, kids need to eat. He pushed off from the car. I never really got it until now. Seeing you in there, putting back the markers. She didn't know what to say. She just stood there in the Oklahoma heat, holding her bags, crying in front of a stranger in a leather vest. What school? He asked. Washington Elementary. Over on 4th Street. He nodded. I'm dropping my nephew there tomorrow. Danny. Kindergarten. Ms. Chen's class. Ms. Chun is wonderful, Sarah said. She taught me how to survive. They stood there for a long moment, the cicadas singing, the heat lightning flickering on the horizon. Then Sarah got in her car and drove away, her trunk full of supplies, her heart full of something she couldn't name. She didn't know his name. Just Jake, he'd said. Just Jake. She didn't know that Jake McCallister was a member of the Nomads Motorcycle Club, a chapter that stretched across 3 states. She didn't know that his brothers were waiting for him at a bar called the Rusty Nail, or that he'd walk through that door in 20 minutes with a story to tell. She didn't know that her life was about to change. Because Jake McCallister walked into the Rusty Nail, and 20 hardened bikers looked up from their beers, and he said 6 words that started something none of them expected. I found something we need to do. Jake tells his brothers about the teacher in the Walmart, about the markers and the notebooks and the $50 she didn't have, about the way she touched each item before she put it back, like she was apologizing to kids she hadn't even met yet. And those bikers? They don't just listen. They act. What happens next will blow your mind. A classroom transformation that'll make you cry. A surprise that Sarah Jenkins will never forget. And a whole lot of tough guys in leather vests learning what it really means to be a hero. If you don't want to miss episode 2, subscribe now. Hit that notification bell. Because when episode 2 drops, you're going to want to see it the minute it's live. Episode 2, The Bikers and the Teacher, coming soon.